So, radioactive decay homework, ACT's up. Please take advantage of this test. Like, I know some of you are dreading it, but I've literally been trying to prep you for it most of the academic year. So, take it serious. You need to. You never know what your future holds. Now, this is a geometry standard. You should have saw a lot of this last year. The idea is, and they even say it, this little symbol here, similarity. I don't know why it's straight, but whatever. It's supposed to be a little squiggly. But the idea is you set up ratios of corresponding sides. So I noticed that these two sides are pretty much the same. So I'm going to say 3 is to 7.5 as, now I don't know how Miss Cantrell taught it. They want the perimeter, so I got to figure out, oh, hold on. I don't have to find side lengths. Forgive me. Always read the question. They want the perimeter. All right, so I do know these are similar. I'm going to find the perimeter of triangle. They call it KLM. I'm just going to take my numbers and add them together. So that'll give us 20, 35. And I'm going to use that to find the perimeter of this thing. So the perimeter of 35 must compare to the perimeter of this little triangle as this 7.5 compares to that 3. That's the idea. And then you do some cross multiplication. P times 7.5 is going to be 7.5p. And 3 times 35 should be 105. And we divide out the 7.5. And, we just kind of figure that out. I'm not feeling like doing it in my head. I gotta save what little brain power I have today for grading. 14. All right, 26. Different question, but it's not a hard question. We're just going to cross multiply. There's some shortcuts to all this stuff, but whatever, like that. That's an obvious one. There's another one here, and I don't, that should have been taught to you in 6th grade, and I don't want to confuse you, but that one was pretty obvious. It was to me anyways. And we're just going to do the same thing we did before. 3 times 7 must equal a times 3 root 7. And then we're going to reduce on down. 3 times 7 is 21. We're going to divide both sides by 3 root 7. And that'd be 7 over root 7, which will multiply by root 7 over root 7. And we'll get 7 root 7 over 7, which is root 7. There you go. There you go. Like I said, there's some shortcuts to this, which would have made that a lot quicker. Would have saved you some pain, too. Hot air balloon 70 meters above the ground is falling at a constant rate of 6 meters per second, while another hot air balloon 10 meters above the ground is rising at a constant rate of 15 meters per second. For the nearest tenth of a second, after how many seconds will the two balloons be the same height above the ground? I guess most kids are probably going to do near math on this one, but we have two balloons, and balloon 1 has the equation 70 minus 6s seconds. The other one, balloon 2, is 10 plus 15s. This is straight up y equals mx plus b. That's what it is. I'm actually doing y equals b plus mx, but it's the same thing. And what I want to know is I want to know when they're going to be the same height. So I'm going to set balloon 1 equal to balloon 2. So 70 minus 6s must equal 10 plus 15s. And 70 minus 10 is 60. There's a reason I'm shifting numbers left. And then 15 plus 6 is 21s. And that is an S value that's really close to 3, isn't it? Because you divide by 21. It's really close to 3, so 2.9. A hiking group will go from a certain town to a certain village by van on one of 4 roads. From the village to a waterfall by riding bicycles on one of 2 bicycle paths. And then from the waterfall to their campsite by hiking on 1 in 6 trails. How many routes are possible? So we haven't talked about this yet in Algebra 2, but this is what we call combinations and permutations. And this is the base level introductory problem here. But basically, we're going to take the number of ways we can do each event and multiply them all together. So all we're going to do. Take the number of ways we can do each individual event and multiply them all together. That way you can see that, what I wrote. It's important. But anyways, let's see here. I can take one of 4 roads. So there are 4 ways I could travel 4 roads. They can ride one of 2 bicycles. There's 2 choices there. And one of 6 trails. There's 6 choices. So 4 times 2 is 8 times 6 is 48. Now, there's always a combination question on the ACT, and that's what you do. You multiply all the numbers together. Cube A has an edge length of 2 inches. Cube B has an edge length double that of cube A. So cube B has edge length 4 inches. And I taught geometry. I was really good at it. I kind of wish I still taught that class because kids understood it better than what I teach now. But I always told kids to draw, even if it was something as simple as a cube. The reason I always told kids to draw is, for some reason, I'm old enough to know how my brain works. Before I think about the formula for a cube, in my head, I picture a cube. But I know the volume of a cube is to take a side length or an edge. I like to call these edges sides. Is to take a side length and cube it. So here the volume is to take the 4 and cube it, if you got to push buttons or whatever. Anyways, it's 64 cubic inches. We've been doing this here lately. A formula used to compute the current value of savings account is A equals principal times 1 plus R to the n, where A is the current value, P is the amount deposited, R is the rate of interest compounding for 1 compounding period, expressed as a decimal, and n is the number of compounding periods. Which of the following is the closest to the value of a savings account after 5 years if 10 grand is deposited at a 4% annual interest rate? They're not even trying to trick you. Compounded yearly, so n is 1, but this thing doesn't even have that. I really can't see what's up there, but I'm going to assume it's T. But the amount after time is that principal. 1 plus R, 4%, 0.04 to the 5th power. I'm really surprised this was on there. Like, you're not supposed to take the, I don't know, whatever. I'm surprised they expect kids to be able to do this without technology. Now, the obvious choices are F or G. It's only 4% interest. I guess that's what I expected there. This would be 1 year. 4%. 4% of 10,000 is $400. So that would be 1 year. So it's just wrong. That'd be G. And, let's push some buttons so you can make sure here. We got 10, 1, 2, 3, 1.04. With an exponent of 5. Yeah, 12, 1, 6, 6, 7. But what they were hoping on this question is this question wasn't meant to be hard. Like, you can answer this question with common sense. Don't ever forget about that. You can answer it with common sense. It had to be choice G, pushing buttons or not. A right circular cylinder is shown in the figure below. What dimensions given in centimeters? Sorry, with dimensions given in centimeters. What is the total surface area of the cylinder in square centimeters? And they gave you the formula, but yet 2/3 of all students who take the ACT will probably miss this. And a lot of students will miss this. They'll miss this question because they let the radius equal 20. It's not. 20 is the diameter. You know, I remember being taught about radiuses and diameters back in 5th grade. So like, I don't know what the problem. But if the diameter is 20, then the radius is 10. And then I just throw crap into a formula. And that's all I have to do. The height is obviously 20. Anyway, so the volume of the surface area of this thing, not volume, surface area has to be 2 pi times 10 squared plus 2 pi times 10 times 20. That's going to be 100. 100 times 2 is 200 pi. 10 times 20 is 200, times 2 is 400. So we're looking at, what, 600 pi? Not a hard problem. Given that f of x is 4x plus 1, g of x is x squared minus 2, which of the following is an expression for f composed of g of x? You just did something. I guess I need to ramp these up a little bit for difficulty, but f of g of x means that I take all of that stuff and I put it right there. That's all I do. So I encounter the x and she becomes x squared minus 2, and then there's a plus 1. I do what's called the distributive property. And then I combine my terms. I do hope that helps. I'm trying to get some of y'all into college. Not being a jerk. I'm not. Just trying to get you money.